Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm back where it all started. This is the Island Lake State Park. So this is my 2024 Can Am Sea to Sky. In today's ride, I'll be hitting 4,000 miles. So I just wanted to talk about what I've learned over those 4,000 miles. So let's get saddled up, go for a ride, and have a chat. So as I said in the intro, today's ride will put me at 4,000 miles. So I thought I'd get out early today because it's going to be 99 degrees and 110 degree heat index. So it's a little before 9 in the morning. Tried to pick the coolest part of the day so I do not overheat. And one of the first things I'll say, and I say this a lot, this is an easy machine to ride. When I say easy to ride, I mean physically easy to ride, but with an asterisk. Get your endorsement, follow the rules, educate yourself, understand the risks before jumping on a Spyder. But the act of riding this itself is very easy. It's very comfortable. It's very enjoyable to ride. It's been a bit of a love-hate relationship. Me and this Spyder. It was rocky in the beginning. We're still together. But, you know, we've got some trust issues. I think this machine owes me a little bit more trust, but I think with every mile that I drive now and don't have a problem, we're getting there. So for me, it started out a little rocky, but I am learning to trust it and enjoy it, which leads me to something else I learned was that not all BRP dealerships are equal. So if you're going to get one of these, go in eyes wide open that not all dealerships are created equal. Not all dealerships that sell these machines are going to service them. They're not going to service certain model years in terms of age. And pick a reputable dealer and gain their trust as well. I had to learn that. My dealer that I purchased from went out of business. When I had a lot of my issues, I had to find a dealer that could put in the time and have the expertise to fix mine. So that's something I definitely learned and didn't expect, was the dealership interface and having to navigate those challenges and maybe assuming everything was just going to be, hey, I'll just take it to any dealer and they'll fix it. So beware of the BRP dealership network. You'll have to do your own research on that. So what I also learned along with that dealership experience is sometimes you're going to have to do your own maintenance. I took it upon myself to change my own oil, save me some money, so don't be afraid to do that. I didn't make a video about it, but there's plenty of videos out there. I also had to fix my own rear latch that wasn't locking, and I put the flashing brake light in. So little things like that you might have to tweak along the way. It might not just be a, drive it off the dealership floor, have no issues, never have to work on anything, just zero anything, just ride. You're probably going to have to do some things along the way. So I encourage you to, based on your own skill set, to give it a try. So I learned I have to do a little maintenance on this thing from time to time. Obviously, I've learned that CarPlay, and I've had to deal with the screen and get CarPlay working and see how fussy that was and spend lots of hours figuring that out. And I'm to the point now where my CarPlay works for the most part. The deficient part of my setup right now is the cable that goes from the tray here to my phone. It doesn't always recognize the cable. I've just got to get a better quality cable. I just bought a cheap one at Walmart. So I think my CarPlay experience would be improved if I've got a better cable. Again, software updates you're going to have to learn how to do. There was a couple of key software updates along the way of my ownership that gave us changes in the display and improvements to CarPlay, BRP Go. So you're going to have to familiarize yourself with downloading software, because this is a live machine that hooks up to gets over-the-air updates, which I appreciate, so they can keep the machine updated. So there's those kind of things you're going to have to learn. I've learned a lot about extended warranties. I didn't think, or I never have purchased an extended warranty on any electronic device or vehicle that I've owned. I had to go down that rabbit hole and learn about extended warranties, because when I had my issues, I was like, I'm going to keep this for a long time, and it kind of scared me. These things are very complex and very expensive, so I had to go down the rabbit hole of learning about extended warranties. I almost got scammed. I made a video about that. So I think hopefully I've helped the community on that one and saved people a lot of money. I've had some comments as such, but yeah, not falling for the $1,800 extended warranty scam and paying $765 was something else I didn't think I was going to have to learn. But yeah, just riding in general, that's been the least of my worries. Learning how to ride this thing is easy. It's just dealing with some of the other things that go with it. I've also learned that the demographic is a bit old for these. I don't think these machines are cool in terms of if you're 22 years old, you're going to buy one. The demographic seems to be quite old. I'm 57, and I think the demographic is probably even older than that. Probably average age is in the 60s. So I don't think if you're looking for a coolness factor, you're probably not going to find it. You're not going to hang out with a lot of young folks. I was first into this. I have a Vespa, but being 57 and getting into this, I think you're not going to be hanging out with the cool kids. I think it's cool, but my demographic is a little bit different, so be aware who you're going to hang out with. I'm not very social on this machine, meaning I don't belong to a lot of clubs or local groups. There are groups around my area. I'm a little bit of an introvert, so I haven't went on any group rides or done that. I've thought about having group rides as a part of my own Mitch on Wheels community and setting something up, but I haven't partaken into too many groups and that kind of thing. So again, choose accordingly depending on what you're looking for. You may be able to seek that out in your local area. I've gotten comfortable with a little bit of rain riding, not too much. I've been in hot weather riding. I've learned how to sort of layer and pick the appropriate clothing for what I'm going to be doing. That took some getting used to with the way this blocks the wind and wind management and temperature management. I've had to figure out what temperature thresholds mean what for wearing what clothes. I'm all gear all the time, but I've got various outfits for different temperatures, so I think that's natural with anybody on two wheels or just getting outside of a car. Learning how your machine handles different temperatures and weather climates. I've rode it in the cold down to freezing. I appreciate all the amenities it has to keep you warm when it's cold. So yeah, you don't think you're learning a lot when you buy something like this, but if you just kind of take tally on your time or mileage and think back of all the things you've done and trips you've taken, you really do learn a lot. So it's one of those things that maybe you don't think about in the ownership process. I've learned sort of the feel, the vibration, the sounds. Now I think I've got everything dialed in to where, you have that expectation of something and you think something's wrong, but I think I've mastered everything this thing, all the sounds it makes and the feeling it makes, so I can definitely tell when something's wrong versus right. I've got enough seat time to kind of figure out how this thing feels, to know if something is wrong. I think that's important. I think another thing that this thing has done for me, it's just gotten me out in my community. It's taken me to places that I just haven't gotten out and driven before. I go on these rides, I make these videos, you just explore your community. That's something that I really didn't think I was going to be, getting as much satisfaction is. I've learned about so many back roads and so many other areas around that I've never ridden before. Even driving my hobby cars, I've never taken them there. So I think one of the benefits for sure is just exploring, just getting out and exploring your area, trying to find new roads, new back roads, places you haven't, getting off the beaten path and that kind of thing. That was something that I found I'm enjoying more than I thought, because like I said, I made a video about how to use a Spyder, but I wasn't sure how I was going to use it. So looking back over 4,000 miles, I learned a lot about trailers and trailering because of having this machine, and we wanted to take it to Florida. I bought a trailer and hauled it. So this thing is just beyond the machine itself. I've learned a lot. I learned about towing, weight balancing a trailer, buying a trailer. There was that whole part of the ownership process. So it's like there's phases. You buy something and it just sort of, you know, goes places you don't think it's going to go, not meaning literally, but, you know, who knew when I bought this that, you know, all the gear I had to research, and then I was going to take it to Florida for the winter and drive it down there, which required me to haul it and get a trailer. Man, I learned so much just by planting one seed, which is buying a Spyder. It's just taken me down many different paths, and I'm looking forward to where it's going to take me literally next. The next adventure. What else I'm going to do. There's still modifications I want to do to this. I've got running board lights I've got to put on. That's something else I've got to work on. So yeah, let me know where the learnings you've had, interactions you've had, things that the Spyder has spawned in your life that you didn't think it would, whether it be places, you know, maintenance, ideas, trips, trailers, towing, classes. Just there's so much that it opens up. Like any hobby, I just didn't think it was going to go this far. I feel like I have all this wealth of knowledge over 4,000 miles, and some of you have commented that you've got 50,000 miles. So I'm just like an infant in this whole process, and there's so much more to learn. I've also learned, because of riding this Spyder, how to be that person on the other side of the traffic line, right, in my car. And I've always respected motorcycle riders and truck drivers and sharing the road with a lot of different people, but again, putting yourself on 2 and 3 wheels and then jumping back into a vehicle just gives you that little bit of an extra awareness that you probably didn't have. Like right now, I was gonna pass that car, this gravel truck. I saw the guy with the blinker, and I did not want to go around that gravel truck and have him not see me and turn right in front of me. That's a decision right there that sometimes you just gotta make those decisions. Am I visible? Who can see me? Who can not? Put yourself in the right spot. That's a big learning situation right there. So many traffic situations that, you know, they go over or they don't teach you, but you see in a test, or, you know, real world situations are so much more than just the parking lot course that you have to learn to be safe. So that's another one. So anyway, guys, I hope you liked it. I did want to make this a review. It's just sort of all my culmination and concatenation of stuff that I've processed and learned. And, you know, just wanted to share it with you over my 4,000 miles. And anyway, that'll end today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe out there. See you soon.